I'm in the mood for light, feminine, girly fragrances, especially since we're in spring, especially since it's getting warmer out. And I wanted to share 7 fragrances that I truly think embody this feminine, fruity, fluffy aesthetic that I really, really have been loving lately. I have mostly niche fragrances here, along with a handful of affordable options. And there's also a new addition to my collection that I'm super excited to share with you. But if this is your first time watching, hello, my name is Anya. I love perfumes and I talk about them on this channel every single Wednesday, along with a ton of bonus content in between. So if you're interested, definitely consider subscribing. I'm going to start off with arguably one of my favorite fragrances of this past month, if not this year so far, and I'm talking specifically about Sora Dora Mallow. This fragrance was very hyped up around the beginning of this year, and it still has quite a lot of hype surrounding it even now, and for very good reason. This is a really beautiful Candied Violet perfume. You have to like Candied Violets because this is a very kind of almost an artificially sweet Candied Violet fragrance that smells kind of like a marshmallow. It has a very powdery accord that leans almost lipstick-like, and I really, really love this perfume. It also has, I believe, some raspberry here, and there's just something about this fragrance that makes it absolutely addictive to me. I've been wearing this nonstop. It's a very high quality fragrance. You can very much tell the quality of the perfume and how masterfully executed it is. This was sent to me, but I definitely can see where the hype is coming from. Definitely think this is worth giving a shot if you haven't already tried this out, because if you like really beautiful gourmand sweet scents, but you're looking for something a little bit more unique, a little bit more powdery, this is one to consider because it is really, really good, and I have been obsessed with my bottle. I am treasuring this. It is absolutely stunning. I love it. You have to really like Candied Violet kind of sugary sweet scents though. And if you do, this is ultimately a beautiful fragrance to try. It is absolutely so super, super girly. I love it. Speaking of gourmand fragrances, I have to talk to you about this one right here by Theodoros Kalotinis. This is Lemon Tart. Now, I really, really love this fragrance. Whenever I smell it, I'm instantly transported to when I first bought this fragrance, which was last summer. And there's just something about this perfume that just gives me a lot of nostalgia about that summer. That summer was very transformative for me, and I went on my first solo trip by myself, and this fragrance takes me back to that time. And the scent memory aside, because I'm feeling very nostalgic today, the scent memory aside, this is a really beautiful photorealistic interpretation of what a lemon tart will smell like, complete with a lemon custard, a little bit of lemon zest, the shortbread crust, the whipped cream on top. It's a very photorealistic lemon scent, which is so, so beautiful, especially in a fragrance that doesn't lean too artificially citrus. And I think a lot of citrus fragrances tend to smell kind of artificial. This one absolutely does not. And I tend to be very particular about my citrus fragrances for that reason. This is really good. Theodoros Kalotinis just blows it out of the park constantly with their gourmand interpretations. They have some really photorealistic fragrances out there, and this is also a really affordable niche fragrance brand. So they have a higher end line that I absolutely love, but they also have this line which has bottles ranging from about 55 to 60 euros or dollars, I believe. That's incredibly affordable, especially considering the quality of the perfume. This is stunning. I love it. This is definitely going to be one of my summer go-tos. And again, there's just something girly about this fragrance that I absolutely love. It's just such a hyper, fun, girly perfume without leaning too sickly sweet. I just love the scent. It's so good. It makes me very happy, this perfume, and I ultimately consider it a worthy contender for a girly, girly, feminine fragrance. Next, I have a new addition to my collection. This is Annabelle's Birthday Cake. I ran through a sample, and my rule is if I run through a sample or a decant, I likely will be loving the fragrance as well, so I usually end up purchasing the fragrance at some point. This is no exception. It's such a very interesting scent, and I am finding it's absolutely perfect for the spring, summertime, and it is so girly. But especially in this video, I didn't want to include fragrances that were girly, but like your typical girly kind of stereotype. I wanted to include fragrances that were girly, yes, but a little bit more unusual. And this is that for me. It's really, really interesting. I'm going to read you the scent pyramid now. So we have top notes of latex, yes. You heard that right. Latex, sugar, lemon, and heliotrope. You have a mid of whipped cream, cupcake, sugar, tuberose, and rose petals, and then a base of honeycomb, cocoa pod, tonka bean. So let me tell you my interpretation when I smell this fragrance. I smell kind of like a fun, fetty kind cake, but it is prevented from being too sickly sweet with that latex. That latex kind of mellows it out, and it ends up being a fragrance that doesn't have an insane projection the way you'd expect a sweet fragrance to be. It's almost like, okay, this is going to sound so weird, but bear with me. It's almost like sweet fragrances kind of like project and project and project, right? The latex in here, and I think the florals as well, let it project, but bring it down and mellow it out to something that's like very palatable. So I can overspray this fragrance without feeling like I'm choking on that funfetti cupcake whipped cream um, scent profile. So I know that sounds really weird, but keep in mind this is a very unusual fragrance, so you definitely have to smell it to get your own idea of it. It's a really interesting fragrance. I have gotten compliments on it. It's a lighter perfume, and I do think it absolutely does its best in the warmer weather. Hands down. And I'm so excited to continue wearing this. This was actually my scent of the day today, and I am absolutely obsessed. Birthday Cake. It's a classic for a reason. I love this perfume so much, and I'm so happy to finally have it in my collection. Speaking of classic, beautiful, stunning perfumes that I just love, let's talk about Mula Mala by Byron. I love this perfume. It was sent to me, but when I tell you this fragrance is so good. It's truly a standout, and let me tell you the notes. So you have top notes of caramel, peach, strawberry, and raspberry, mid of ginger, pink pepper, and labdanum, and then base notes of vanilla, musk, oud, and patchouli. So this is a higher end fragrance, and definitely you can tell that the quality aligns with the price tag. This is a fragrance that has these gourmand notes, but the execution of the fragrance is not this like kind of girly, immature aesthetic. It is actually a girly fragrance, yes, but you can smell the quality of this perfume. It truly does last a very, very long time. It lasts all day. You only need one or two sprays to take you throughout the entire day, meaning this will last you a long time. It's terrific value. Personally, I don't smell the oud as much. I smell more of the sweetness, but I like how they have the ginger and labdanum here to kind of temper that gourmand aspect. That makes this perfume, in my mind, a very balanced, almost like kind of like a fruity musk, even though I don't think musk is. Did I read out musk? Hold on, let me check. I read this as a fruity musk perfume. Yes, there is musk in the base. I see this as a fruity musk. I do like that raspberry and strawberry in here as well. Um, but I also like how it's balanced out with that hint of oud, but also primarily the ginger, pink pepper, and labdanum. That balances this fragrance out and makes it, it takes it away from being too girlishly sweet and young to something that's more elegant. And I definitely think that this fragrance is very girly. It's something that's very, I think it's a very impactful perfume, meaning it's kind of an impression setting fragrance. It's definitely going to give you a lot, it's definitely going to get you attention. This is one of those fragrances that you can smell how refined this perfume is, and that kind of has it in the name. Mula Mula, I believe that means money. there you go. I mean, it's beautiful, it's stunning. They do have the smaller bottles available if you want to try those out. But like I said, this is terrific value. I absolutely love this perfume. And it's truly one of my favorites, especially recently. So we have Mula Mula by Byron. This is a classic and it's hyped for a reason. New perfume from House of Oud. We have Guilty Crush. This is a decant that was gifted to me by the brand, but I ultimately have this on my full bottle wish list because this is an amazing fragrance, especially if you like girly, powdery, lipsticky scents. Let me read you the notes. We have black cherry, wild strawberry, and champagne, a mid of lipstick, jasmine, and rose, and then base of vanilla, musk, benzoin, and cedarwood. This, I'm going to spray this fragrance on me. See, the thing is, I have not been super into cherry notes until I smelled a lot of new releases, and this is one of them. The way that they have the cherry incorporated with the lipstick here and with the wild strawberries, it makes it a lot more nuanced than you would expect a lot of cherry fragrances to be. So I really, really do like this one. The lipstick is really coming through now. That powdery lipstick is something I just love. It's a powdery, old-fashioned lipstick, but it's made more vivacious and interesting with the inclusion of champagne, with that wild strawberry, with that cherry. It's a very interesting and fun perfume. Again, this is new from House of Oud. This is Guilty Crush. It is very focused on that lipstick. So if you want an interesting lipstick fragrance and you also like cherry, this is one to try. It's so girly. It's so fun. I absolutely love this one. I told you I'd share some affordable fragrances, and here we have Aay Dubai by Lattafa. This is a newer fragrance from them, and it's been getting a lot of hype online, and for good reason. This is such a beautiful, fluffy mango scent with osmanthus, lemon, and orange at the top. And might I add, it's very difficult for me personally, I mean, this has been my experience, to find a mango perfume that doesn't lean overtly soapy. And with notes like osmanthus, that can happen. But this fragrance, I would say, is the most photorealistic mango perfume that I've smelled at this price point. And honestly, I really, really love it. It's like a ripe mango, but it's not too sweet. It still maintains that realistic nature, meaning it's not too sweet. It's not like an overripe, soapy smell, which I've smelled in a few affordable mango fragrances and I'm not too into. I think at some point I should probably do like a video talking about mango perfumes because I have a few in my collection that I can kind of compare and contrast for you. But this is stellar, and there's something about it that's so girly. I think that the osmanthus, in my mind, makes it a really fluffy, and that's a girlishness I really do like when it comes to perfumes. And you do have the citruses here, which makes it a little bit of a lighter fragrance. I think this is ideal for the spring and summertime. It's such a beautiful perfume, and the price is around $20 to $25. Terrific value. Aay by Lattafa. This is gorgeous. And of course, I can't do this video without mentioning this fragrance, which I absolutely love. This is Idole Nectar by Lancome, and I do think at some point I will need to get myself a bigger bottle because I have kind of been hoarding this one. This is a beautiful caramel popcorn scent with rose. If you like rose, this is definitely one to try, especially if you also happen to love gourmand perfumes. This has a gorgeous sillage. It definitely lasts all day. Recently, or actually no, in the past year plus, I've made like an unofficial rule for myself. I only want to add designer fragrances to my collection that are a little bit unusual, and that's not the easiest thing to find when you have an almost, I don't want to say oversaturated, but when you have a saturated market full of fragrances that kind of are meant for everyone to like, which is what you get with a lot of designers. A lot of designer brands tend to make fragrances for the crowd. They tend to want to create fragrances that will be crowd pleasing, and that only makes sense because yes, they have a large network and they need to make fragrances that everyone will really love, as opposed to some other more niche brands that can make smaller batches for a different kind of customer. Designer brands are supposed to make fragrances that are supposed to please the typical person that just wants a really nice perfume. So when I started to really collect fragrances, I started to realize I only really wanted to have designer fragrances in my collection if they had some kind of unusual quality to them, if they were really, really standouts. And this, for me, absolutely checks all those boxes. It's a really interesting interpretation of a popcorn perfume, but it does have that rose, that typical Idole rose that I personally really love, and it does have a touch of caramel. This is gorgeous. It's gorgeous, it's interesting, it's gourmand without being too hyper realistic. It's a gourmand without being your typical caramel perfume. There's something special about it. It's something unusual, and that to me makes it an absolute must have in my collection, and definitely one of my top 5 designer perfumes. I love this fragrance. The rose in this perfume prevents it from being too much of a girlish, kind of like almost immature scent, and it takes it into something that is more palatable and something that I want to wear constantly. So this is such a beautiful scent, and of course the bottle is really, really pretty, and I just love it. So that pretty much rounds this video out. Those were all the fragrances I wanted to mention. 7 amazing, gorgeous, feminine, beautiful perfumes that I cannot get enough of, especially for the springtime. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I hope you enjoyed this video, found it useful, and I will see you later.